Some days ago, an image of a destroyed T-80U tank was published on the internet, and it seems like it is missing its inner composites from the upper front plate. At least, that is what some people have concluded from the picture. But in my opinion, it is a very rash conclusion. Something that has been happening a lot lately. Sure, if you look at the picture, yeah, there are no armor inserts, which consist of a high hardness steel plate sandwiched between two plates of fiberglass. And they are obviously missing. But an obvious thing here is that the tank has been completely obliterated in what appears to be the ammo detonation, something the Russian tanks are notorious for, but this one appears to be especially violent. If we take a closer look, we will see that the lower front plate has completely broken off from the upper plate, and the pieces of the tank have flown everywhere. In the second picture, we see where it has ended up, in front of the tank, while the upper plate has flown to the back, in two completely opposite directions. In the second picture, we can see that the side armor plate has broken in half, and the other half is nowhere to be seen. We can also see the turret has flown away to the left side of the tank, and pretty far at that. Now the turret ring has ended up next to the upper front plate, together with a heavy machine gun which is supposed to be on the turret. You might be wondering where I'm getting with all this. Well, what I'm trying to say at the end is that the hull inserts could have ended up anywhere in the near vicinity of the tank and have simply flown out of the upper front hull. You see, those plates are generally held in place by the lower front plate. From the armor diagram, the hull inserts are not connected in any way to the upper plate or the back of the upper hull, and the welds are only present on the lower front plate, but those are mainly to hold the lower and the upper plate together. So, if the lower front plate and the upper front plate were blown away from each other that much, is it not maybe fair to assume that the armor inserts were simply flung out during the violent explosion? Also, we do not see the right side of the upper front plate. The spacers could have broken off on this other side, and the inserts could have just slung in that direction and are invisible on the picture. And if we look at the upper hull, we will see that almost half the back plate is missing. This could also indicate that the armor inserts were broken into pieces. And according to Andrei Tarasenko, this piece in the bottom left of the picture is the piece of the fiberglass insert, which does make sense since the fiberglass is originally some shade of orange, and when burned gets a slight red hue to it. Maybe something else happened to them that I have not talked about. It could be anything. To me, the "there were no armor inserts in the first place" conclusion makes no sense. The production value during USSR was not low, and this tank, the T-80U, was the most expensive tank USSR has ever built. They were not chipping out on those, and to not put any armor inserts, which are far from being expensive when compared to other parts of the tank, would be ludicrous. Not to mention that this T-80U in particular would weigh much less, and would have balance issues because of the front being much lighter. So someone in the 30 plus years of this tank's service would have noticed that it was much lighter and the rear parts of the suspension and other automatic parts were wearing out super fast because more weight is distributed to the back. It simply makes no sense. So what do you think? What is more likely? That the tank did not have any armor inserts in the first place, or that any number of the many scenarios could have happened to those inserts during the violent destruction of the tank? That would be all. If you like my content, you can support me on Patreon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a nice day.